The following material is presented for informational and sales purposes only and represents our understanding of generally applicable rules. It is not intended and does not set forth solutions to individual situations. New York Life Insurance Company, its agents, or employees may not give legal, tax, or accounting advice, and none is intended nor should be inferred from the information herein. Clients should consult their own professional advisors prior to implementing any planning strategies. This material includes a discussion of one or more tax-related topics prepared to assist in the promotion or marketing of the transactions or matters addressed. It is not intended and cannot be used by any taxpayer for the purpose of avoiding any IRS penalties that may be imposed upon the taxpayer.
You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Well, welcome back to the Money Hour at 11:50 a.m. KKNW, the Saturday, May 4th show. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I am your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
It is a great day to talk money, and that's what the show is all about, how to make money, how to save money so that you can have a better quality of life for you and your family. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but we're here to connect you with the guests that we have on the show. Please call at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. Regular contributor to the show, we have Tony Sablan of Eagle Strategies New York Life. Choose a better retirement plan. Tony, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thanks for having me, Tina.
And a few things about Tony. Tony is a wealth advisor at Eagle Strategies, agent of New York Life, and registered representative of New York Life Securities. He is also the founder of Ultimate Wealth Strategies based in Bellevue, Washington. What a great place to be based in after our Money Chat conversation, Tony.
Yes.
Focusing on life insurance, investment, retirement, and estate planning for you, your family, or small business to identify your life goals and motivations. Tony has a vast team of specialists that will help you meet your goals. Not only does he enjoy helping people with their financial goals and dreams, he is passionate about the community through his involvement with various of nonprofit organizations. One of the unique things about Tony is that he's a mixed martial arts coach at AMP Pancration in Kirkland and training alongside current UFC champions, ONE FC champions, and other world-class fighters. Tony, thank you again so much for being here today.
Always a pleasure.
Tony, not to get off subject, but I see a picture of Demetrius Johnson the other day.
Yeah, we just got back from Japan. Got the win at his new organization, ONE FC.
Wow, that's crazy. Mighty Mouse. He's such a great fighter. That's
we
insane.
got superstars in studio.
We do. It's a big deal. Anyway, sorry. Let's get to retirement planning. Let's get to what you do here as a profession. So, why should people start thinking about a better strategy for retirement? Tony, tell us about it.
Well, people should start thinking about a better strategy for a few reasons. Longevity may be the most significant factor in retirement planning these days, and the hardest to gauge as well. With the steady increase in life expectancy, you may be living in retirement much longer than you anticipated. And when we compare longevity using today's mortality tables versus ones used very recently, we see that people are living longer, meaning you'll need income longer than you may have thought of. And for instance, a healthy 65-year-old today, you can expect to live well into your 80s. And for males, you can live to your early 80s. So longevity is an important factor. And then also more recent is tax management would be another reason why you would consider a better strategy for retirement.
So, Tony, let's talk about responsibility. Who's responsible for your retirement?
So in times past, many retirees relied on income from pensions and Social Security benefits funded by corporations and government programs. The cash flow they took from personal savings was just a small piece of the pie, since these programs and pensions were very reliable, guaranteed, and sufficient in most cases. Today, however, Social Security is providing a smaller percentage of the income needed in retirement, and sometimes without the benefit of cost of living increases. Pensions are also no longer as prevalent as they used to be, leaving most people without those guaranteed funds. Consequently, the responsibility for accumulating retirement savings and generating retirement income is shifting from organizations to individuals. And personal savings for retirement is far more important today than it was in the past.
He's spot on there. So he's saying people live longer, so you need more money for retirement. Taxes are historically low. They're predicted to go up. Social Security is supposed to run out, and we don't have pensions anymore.
Yeah.
So it's on you. It's a call to our listeners to go out and talk to Tony and figure out what's going on. At least get a gauge of where you're at and get a timeline of what it will take to get you to where you need to know. Otherwise, you could find yourself, time is of the essence. It could be too late, and that's really a tough thing.
It's kind of scary to think that you don't have enough money to be able to support yourself for your years here.
It is scary. So what other factors, Tony, should you keep in mind when you're planning for retirement?
Well, inflation is inevitable. People in the job force usually keep up with inflation through their pay increases. But after retirement, few people can increase their income enough to keep pace with the cost of living. Although the idea is simple, many people don't recognize the enormous benefit that can result from just saving early. And to demonstrate the power of time, if you take two siblings, we'll call them Susan and Ken, looking to build a nest egg for retirement, Susan chooses to invest $1,000 per year in a traditional retirement account starting at age 30. And she continued these payments for 10 years through age 40, and let's say she earns an average of 6% per year on investment. At 40, she travels overseas in order to volunteer for, a nonprofit organization, and then she stops contributing to that retirement account and, just letting it grow until age 65. So then you take Ken, on the other hand, also sees the need to put money away for his retirement, but in his 30s, he was very focused on other investment ideas, his mortgage, saving for kids' college education, and taking care of his mother-in-law's health costs. He didn't begin implementing his plan until he was 45, and we see that a lot today.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, he begins investing, $1,000 a year in an IRA. He's averaging 6% annual return, and he continues that for 20 years. So Sue does it for 10 years at an earlier age. Ken starts later, and he does it for 20 years. And when you compare the two, there's a significant difference in what they've accumulated.
Yeah. So basically, your advice is don't procrastinate and start accumulating. Correct, Tony?
That is correct. And, long-term goals often involve saving for the future. That could be buying a home, starting a business, paying for college, enjoying a comfortable retirement. Early planning maximizes the power of time, helping you reach your financial goals. And the sooner you begin to save, the more wealth you may accumulate.
Yeah.
Tony, that's awesome. We were just talking about time and how it's good to start early. People also don't think about inflation. If you have your money in a bank account, what is the CPA is a little low, but they always say like 3% inflation, something like that.
Yeah.
I could probably say that. I don't know if you're allowed to. But,
I can say approximately.
Approximately, right? So if you have your money sitting in a savings account, you're actually losing money over time, and a lot of people do that. They just park their money there. So with that being said, with these people starting at different ages, hypothetically, if I could say that word correctly, how fast can an investment grow typically?
Well, that's a common question I get asked a lot. And, how long will it take my money to grow? And one answer is using the rule of 72. And it's called the rule of 72 because you can calculate an estimate for the amount of time it will take you to double your money by dividing your expected annual return by 72. For instance, at an expected return of 10%, you would divide 72 by 10, and the result is that your money will double every 7.2 years. Or if you obtain a 6% return on an investment, the money will double every 12 years, 72 divided by 6. So the rule of 72 is a hypothetical mathematical calculation, and there's no assurance that any investment will double within a specific time frame. And again, this annual return is hypothetical, and it doesn't represent the return of any specific investment. And what if you factor taxes into the equation.
Yeah. And before we do that too, I was just talking with a client, and I own a mortgage software that I've created. I'm all about numbers and education, and looking at a mortgage payment savings. I like to show is, how much you need to earn in your investment to make it better to invest versus paying down principal. And right now where the interest rates are at, it's just a little bit over 5%. So if you know you could earn more than 5%, then you want to take that money and invest it in an asset that's going to grow versus, paying down the principal of your mortgage. But yeah, Tony, let's talk about taxes and how that comes into play here.
So taxes can increase the time it's required to double your money. If you earn a 6% pre-tax return and you're in the 30% federal tax bracket, you can figure about a 4% post-tax return. So instead of your money doubling in 12 years, it will take 18 years for your money to double if you pay taxes on your earnings each year. And as always, consult your tax professional and work with a financial
You're good,
advisor like
Tony.
myself
Yes.
to design a cohesive retirement strategy for you.
Yeah, and we kind of chuckle a little bit, but it's really important, when you're disclosing something in the media, that we're having a conversation, and there's no guarantees on anything, so you have to put appropriate disclosures in there.
Well, and I can attest to that. I worked for New York Life, as similar to Tony, so they're near and dear place in my heart. And shout out to Yosuke, who is my managing partner. And
I'll tell him
Mark,
you say hi.
you should, yeah. And Mark Madgett was the GO in our office. Is that what they call it? Is it a GO?
Yeah.
Yeah, the GO. And now he's like running the whole company. So we had some great leadership there. But they're very strict on what you're going to say and what comes out of your mouth, no matter
good
what,
thing.
which is good. They want to protect themselves. They're a very conservative company, which is a good thing, hence why they're so successful. So, what do you see, Tony, as the main risks in the types of retirement planning that you're starting to see today?
Well, today, as I mentioned earlier, longevity, inflation, taxes, and having guarantees in your portfolio is something to be considered.
So, Tony, what financial planning vehicle should you consider for planning for your retirement? Because I know there's a lot of different vehicles that can be used.
Yeah, individuals need to think about the bigger picture, expand their use of investment vehicles that are uncorrelated to each other or the market, and also consider placing guarantees within their portfolio. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, life insurance, income protection, annuities, real estate. No one investment vehicle will give you the home run in retirement, similar to, the fight game. It's no one style these days will get you the outcome of winning the fight.
Yeah, the diversification is so important, but really I love the, guaranteed growth assets like in the insurance packages and tax benefits and all of those great things. So you just want to make sure that you have a variety and be diversified.
Yeah, one of the amazing things about New York Life is they look at a lot of diversification, not only with the different products, but where they're placed in the taxes, pre-tax, after-tax, aggressive, safe, keep a percentage equivalent to your age, safe. Rules like these that are really protecting you, the more assets you have in different places, the more it hedges your bets, right? So when one's not performing, the other one outperforms. And that's how just our economy works in general. We know that with bonds and stocks and how it affects interest rates.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, what else can you advise our people, our listeners, as far as considering when planning for the future in retirement, Tony?
Well, a lot of folks ask me what's realistic in terms of different types of investment returns, and after a lengthy bull or bear market, some people tend to lose perspective of what is a normal rate of return. To that, I say, let's have a conversation, because returns are just one part of the equation, and it's easy to overlook when times are good like they are today.
Yeah. Great advice, Tony. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing your expertise in the financial arena.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to be here.
Coming up next in the Money Hour, vulnerability in relationships. D. Gupta with D Coaching right here at 11:50 a.m. KKNW after this short break.